Okay, so if you haven't seen this game before, we are going over this game because it features a very, very interesting invasion and will probably give many of you nightmares if you do not like invasions. As you know, Mr. Ke Jie. Alright, hold that thought. Real quickly before you watch any more of this video, I do want to warn everyone that unfortunately when I was recording this particular lecture, it for some reason did not save to my hard drive. As a result, in order to get this particular video down onto my hard drive so I could actually edit the thing, I had to download it off Twitch, then put it into my video editor and then commence editing. Unfortunately, my editor did not like this very much, and the audio desyncs all over the place. Now, this game is actually quite amazing. The invasions that take place in this game are wonderful or terrifying, depending on how you want to look at it. So please overlook any audio desyncs. I will be looking quite strange in the upper right hand corner of the screen, but if you can overlook that, then I think there's a great game here that you will enjoy having gone over and made part of your life. That said, back to the video. Is China's strongest player and next person who's on deck to play AlphaGo if he decides to do so. Personally, if I was him, I would probably decline, but whatever. Against Park Chung-won, very strong Korean player, bit of a fighter. So the game opens up like so, with white as usual inviting diagonal if black feels so inclined. Black does not feel so inclined. Black feels inclined to play like a 3-4, so maybe orthodox. Don't really know. What's really interesting though is black approaches low. High is usually all the rage because there's like a ton of things you can do when you approach high, right? Instead, because you can play this way, you can play fast framework style. If you want to play old school, which a professional nowadays wouldn't, but I still like doing these frameworks. I know they've got hard counters, but I still like this formation. I think something about it is just like really sexy. It's got a pretty harsh counter, but I like it anyway. I don't care. I'm an amateur. I'm allowed to. But low approaches, don't see those very often. And in fact, white decides to ignore an approach because good old Mr. Ke Jie, he's a bit of a fighter. Black has to now decide what he wants to do. He could follow up this because he was ignored. You can't see my cursor in the capture, can't you? Alright, just double checking. Yeah, you could follow up here. You could pincer here. Either or are okay. You could technically also ignore an approach, but you're more inclined to do that with a 3-4 than a 4-4 stone. Instead, we have a pincer. This pincer is actually fairly big, because if we play elsewhere, let's say in the upper right-hand corner, no, then you have to figure the wall that you might give your opponent later could be huge here. It'll extend almost clear across the board. Very, very strong wall. Also have to consider that any kind of attack like so is going to be hard to counterattack. Usually you could think to yourself, well, I'm just going to get influence here and then put pressure on my opponent, but he's got allies. It's going to be harder to do. So this does have implications for how we're going to continue the bottom left-hand corner. White pincers back instead. We have a follow-up here. Don't have a follow-up here, for which I fell in love with, because this is just, you know, Taisha garbage. No offense to those of you who love Taisha to death. I'm just not one of them. So we split here because this is a bit weak. We can actually play this now. This doesn't really hurt us, so we're free to just play whatever at this point. And then what does white do, you know? We could play here, but again, there's a really great poke point. And then again, the question becomes, what do we do? I mean, this is not the greatest shape in the world, right? So we diagonal out. Keep things separated. Black kicks. We can ignore this because it takes extra moves in order to kill this stone. White tries to counterattack, keeping everything unsettled. Black follows up, keeping things nice and simple. White follows up, likewise. And now we have to decide, since we have Sente, because we took care of A, which of these two stones is the one that we're going to run out? What do you think? Do we run out A to keep pressure on J3? Or do we try to run out B because it was our first stone? What do you think? The one that's keeping pressure on the J3 stones or the cornerstone? Which one do we run out? Which one do we run out? Which one do we run out? We run out B? Ranchani says we're going to run out B. I'm going to say technically 2 of the unknown players said A. I'm going to say it's actually a trick question. We're not actually running out anything because we can still settle here. If we're still settling here, we don't really need to. We're not really running, are we? So yeah, little bit of a trick. Little bit of a trick question here. There's no need to run B because B is just going to chill. White goes over because if we play here, we're way too invested. Like, we know this isn't going to die. We know this isn't going to die. And there's forcing moves here now, right? There's like things like this for later on. So we wouldn't want to do this. This is more consistent with those outside stones, so I like. White lives in Gote, or black lives in Gote, my bad. No need to cap this stone, because it really can't run very far. And if it wants to try, imagine how many stones you need to run. 1, 2, 3 to truly be outside of White's influence. So very, very risky. And your opponent's going to follow you through those jumps, right? And even there, it looks like maybe we're still behind enemy lines, so what the heck are we doing running that group out? Not only that, but we got an under connection. So running this group out right now would be very, very bad. Qs. You wouldn't want to run that out. That'd be bad. I wasn't giving a good reason to pick B. Yeah, I was kind of doing that intentionally. So, white picks largest area. Now here's a question for y'all. Direction of play question. How do we decide between an inside move like this and an outside move like this? How do we decide? Maybe we're picking the area of the board that's larger, right? Maybe it's larger. Okay, that's 11 lines over there. There we go. That makes more sense. See, they're both 11. So how do we decide? Depends on your intentions. If you're into territory or the influence. Yeah, are we building or are we more concerned with reducing? If we play on the outside like this, we're saying that we can probably still reduce or still build. So what would give us that impression? Well, we can see these stones. So okay, we got a little bit of influence pointed in this direction over here. Teensy amount, but a little. However small it happens to be. What else do we have? We could kind of grow that too. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. We can kind of like have influence and kind of like build influence, so it looks like we can grow something. If we couldn't, then we would just be reducing our opponent's ability to make something. We'd probably be playing on the inside or splitting or something like that. So that's how this makes sense. Plays high. Encloses. We have an extension now. We could just play here, but then our opponent's going to probably play here, and then either we're going to play here, and then we're going to play here, and then our opponent's going to play here, and then we're going to do something like this, and then we're going to just like reduce. And it's really, really boring, right? It's a really, really boring way to play Go. It's boring, it's predictable. I mean, we can try and be tricky and, you know, change things up a bit, but there's only so much you can do. So I like this a bit better. A bit harder to approach the corner. Got an extension from the enclosure we just made, courtesy of C9. Have an extension at 017. You like boring and predictable? Then you can play the other way, Fire. You can play the other way. It's all good. Framework of his own. Framework of his own. White extends up. Just gets kicked and build into build. So now we've got quite the area here for black. Pretty solid too, right? I mean, we got 2 stones here into the. We have a pretty tight formation here. Got a pretty strong corner here. So this is a bit harder to come into now compared to this, because this we got the shoulder hit. We've got this, which is what he chooses, inviting his opponent to try to, you know, play here without overcommitting. Sure enough, he defends, because if we do anything else, I mean, this group is looking very weird now, right? In fact, I mean, are we just gonna get? I mean, God, are we just gonna cut through here? Maybe. So we're defending our investment. Makes sense. And now we're playing lightly to reduce the larger area, because keep in mind, the goal isn't this. The goal is this. If we imagine a box around the potential is kind of here with them sharing this like outer edge line, which is what makes this so interesting. We can go here into here because we're trying to get in the box and live. What's in the box? We're in the box. Odd move, but it prevents this, which is an easy way to make shape in life. So easy. Forcing move. Now we could have played a few other moves. We could play a few other moves here. As white, that is. The question is, would they make any sense? Like, if we could pincer this, for example. We could pincer this. But now it looks like we're really, really, really trying to kill things. There's still this. There's still going to be this. Still inviting a base here, right? What else could we do? Not a whole lot. We have to be careful too, because there's a lot of forcing moves in the area, right? Killing is good. Only when you can kill is killing good. When you can't kill, then killing might have been a mistake. So we play here. White responds. Black backs off. Why does black back off? Let's test to see how smart y'all peoples are. Why is black backing off here? Does that seem like a little bit passive? A little bit passive, maybe? Is it passive? No, no, it's not really passive at all, is it? Because if we Hane, we're gonna play that anyway in Gote. So now what happens? Could get split? I don't think we could split with the Hane. Are you worried about this move? I don't think so. I don't think so, because you just invited your opponent to live. Pretty easy, Nia. Faya knows the games that could spoil it. You're not gonna spoil it, Faya. Yeah. We take the same move in Gote, so we then get attacked very severely. Okay, so we don't do that. That'd be bad. So white gets more. This move's tricky. This is trying to see if there's any Aji. Like what can we still do here? Black is asking. Like, is white gonna play here? Maybe, but that might mean that we can live here later on. That seems like it's alive. That's a living group later. That is an absolute living group later. So that would be a very interesting thing to note. If you played here, then I'm not the right move, mind you, but you would probably just seek to solidify yourself in the middle, because it would probably be Sente, because your opponent would have to go back and make sure that this doesn't go back and live, and that'd be great. So this is a very important asking move. Like, what's here? Anyone that would play this is making a mistake, because you just lost all of that Aji. So that attachment is really cool. Good old Mr. Ke Jie says, I'll kill you. Black says, I'm looking for Aji. White says, I'll kill that too. Black says, but what if I kill you first? Because the Hane here now is being activated, right? This threatens a capture. This similarly threatens a capture. We're getting really, really strong here now. So if we're going to live back in the corner, we have to do it now or never. So we're going to do it now. This is also really, really threatening because A is going to threaten to do a whole bunch of awful stuff to our opponent. Even the cut works well, to be honest. To be Ernesto. Defends because the cutting point's amazing. Wait, sorry, wrong. I misclicked. My bad. There we go. Now yeah, that works. Defends against it, so we need to live. Gote so white can follow up. So white attacks the shape. Multiple directions attacks the shape too. Multiple direction attack. Because like we're threatening the Hane stuff. And we're threatening this Hane stuff that builds the bottom. So this is getting to be a very uncomfortable position. Right? Quite uncomfortable. Quite uncomfortable. Black asks a question. Nice strong response. No weird Hane or clamping. Gotta get out of here then. Separation. Imagine that move for black and you can see the value of it. You see how this just enlarges all the way over here? Remember Naiping saying that B should give up those stones to continue to build? It looks like he's got a similar idea in mind. The thought crossed his mind, because you can see N14 was looking to do something similar to that, right? Because if we play this, then we're doing something like this, and maybe actually getting rid of those stones in order to build up. But here it looks like we're kind of invested. Forcing moves. Forcing moves. Shape moves. Can't connect, sadly. The empty triangle just destroys us. Connection. Maintaining pressure on the group. The middle is so in trouble right now. Clearly there are no invasions. I lied to you. This is not a game of invasions. This is just someone getting smacked around the middle of the board until he stops bleeding. But Black is going to fight back and threaten to connect up to either one of his stones. Now we're getting somewhere. Being careful. Building up. Getting rid of Aji. And then taking that right-hand side for himself. That is a huge move, man. Because look at this. Check this out. This is White's territory. This isn't right now, because we can still connect up, right? We don't really know how many points are here yet. They're kind of going back and forth on that one. This could connect up. So we're not really sure if this is alive or dead. Maybe alive. It's hard to say what's going to happen in here. But this is territory, sure. This is territory, sure. But we're a little bit questioning of what else is territory for White. Okay, Comey, clearly. So this attempt to get a large area for himself is really, really big. I love 6th and 7th line territory, right? And you can't reduce this area, because look how tight this formation is. And this is a pretty strong area. It's pretty strong. There's no way, I say quite sarcastically, that you can invade this. Interesting move. Asks, are you going to back off? If so, I can sweep these stones out from underneath you. Black says no. White says then I'll do it anyway. Black says no, you won't. White says, yeah, I will. I will cut and kill you. It's like, you can cut, but nothing will die. It's like, well, what if I bring this stone back to life? It's like, well, this is 5th line territory. Give it all you got, bro. Poking at impossible entry points. Ensuring the Atari can't be played to cut this off. It's pretty good. We can go over top, but we're not going to be able to save those stones. I mean, Black is clearly saying, this area is mine. This is my territory, pal. Look at the defensive moves I've played in order to ensure this area isn't yours. Not yours. Out of curiosity, hypothetically, but let's say you did want to try and invade the right-hand side. Where would you begin? Anyone have any ideas? Anyone have any idea where we'd possibly even begin to think about invading that right-hand side? This area on in here? Faya knows where. I would poke first at R15. What's R15? Ooh, poke there. Poke there's pretty good. Gobaduk says R15. Okay, Gobaduk has not quite seen this game yet. Boop! Ranchani gets to be a pro for the rest of this game. Way to go, Ranchani. That was an alert. S10, we do have to pick which way we're going to block. Oh, no, S10? No. Second line bad. Second line too easy to respond to. It's like, And now think about the area you need to live in. Like, if you play here, there's an invasion point left behind. If you play here, that's just not a lot. Like, this area here, you can't get life with this. Alright, so we're gonna invade. R10 attach, this key's scared to do it. Do it in your next game. So, the first thought is, this is just disgusting. He is disrespecting his opponent with this invasion. It's way too deep. He even defended himself here. But did he? Did he really? Because I see two small knight moves. Interesting. I see clamps. Interesting. So we try and defend and get cut. Defending. And sure enough, he's after the Aji there. So black says, that's fine. You can't do anything. You can take that stone, it's irrelevant. Poke, poke, poke. You see France. You see France on this board? You have a better imagination than I do. Alright, so we're poking. We can remove the eye here and here. So we're good, right? This is just gonna die. Stupid Mr. Ke Jie. Wow. Now we're surrounded. Whoo boy. Who are we surrounded? That's the end of this invasion, right? I mean, nothing's gonna die. We can't break out. We can't get two eyes. That's the end of... No, not the end of this invasion? Okay. Going after this because the connection here, we have a valid threat. This is a valid threat. Also, I can see what we're trying to do here, but we can push through and so we're good. Offers in a way out, like you just play here and I'll just save these stones, to which black says go fish. Another threat. Blatantly ignored. Everything's being kept in. Get that Hanayon in there. Got a connection now for the cut. And for the cut. That's a pretty big cut too. Like, let's say we go back and double down and play here, just to be safe. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. I mean, what do we do here? We don't do this. Because we just failed. That'd be rough. So connects. Maximizing liberties. Try and do something. Nothing he can really do. Play in the honey. Kill off the stone easily enough. Trying everything still. Kills this nicely. We Atari. We Atari. We can connect. All that kind of good stuff. Atari. At this point, I would assume he's read it all out. I would assume he's read it all out at this point. Poking. Now we can Atari this, but we can't save these 3 stones. However, just because we can kill this doesn't mean that we're alive completely, right? If we look at this, I think we Atari here now, right? And then we would take, but that doesn't work because then we can't get rid of that. So here's the problem. If we play here, we have to play there. Locally dead. But what about this group? Do we connect? No. Do we play here? No. Do we play this? Yes. Do we go to Ko? Maybe, but it'd be kind of big. So, that's, no. 1 second. There we go. So that's a huge lingering problem here. He could be alive in Ko. Right. So black takes more territory. White responds. Right now we have a brief lull as white seeks to increase his territory count. These stones are now completely cut off and added to white's territory pool. For now. Attacking once again. Attacking the weak white stones, but we're going to dodge that pretty easy. Trying to escape. Killed off this while the middle is threatening to live. But you can see the problem here. We're giving up a lot of stones in the center. Because that's threatening to poke through. And that does poke through. Black counter pokes into white's territory. This is probably stall for more time. Coming in, trying to kill top. Again, stall for time. Connection here is really nice, because if we actually had to run through here, that would be huge. Like, if we thought that we had to do this, then our profit is hurting so much. But he plays here instead, because this doesn't quite work out. I mean, we can kill stone now. But white is ensuring he's alive. Black has to defend. Which means white is alive right now on the board. Because if we take, it forces a connection, then we just live with 2 eyes. Moving to surround. Or moving to enter, sorry. White is hunting again. Do you see what he's hunting? See what he's hunting? He's hunting the connection for this group, while threatening to go underneath and connect these stones that were previously thought to be dead. Oops, my bad. Stall for time. Save stones. Make sure we're fine here. Atari. Is this zombie go? Very little zombie go. Very little zombie go. These stones are dead. Extends on up, threatens to connect. Has to reconnect. Drops down. We're now threatening yoink. Gotta live. You go back and connect because we can link up underneath here. We can cut through here. We can get an eye. And this is something that was really interesting. Because this is the one that kept him alive, right? This right here kept white alive in the middle. But white ignores it. Why does white ignore that? Why does white ignore that move? Because keep in mind, we're alive here still. So that's why we can ignore that for the moment. So we can play here. Getting reduced. Poking through. Connecting up, making sure that these stones aren't going to die. Threatening to kill off the corner. Making sure we can't do it this way. This is actually an interesting life and death problem. If we play here, we're really screwed, right? Because we can live, not with that stone we can't. Well, actually, can we live with that stone anyway? No, we can't. Okay, just checking. We're alive, but then we give up stones as a result, so that'd be bad. So we play here. Make sure that we're not going to be having any troubles here. And that this group isn't going to try to kill us. Because all we need to do is make certain that this group can't kill us. As long as we have an eye, we don't leave anything weird behind, then we're fine. But if we did play here, oh my god. I don't know, do we just like resign now? Because we can't really do much, can we? Tari. Take. Can't connect, otherwise we lose more stones. Connect on up. Oh, shoot. I asked the question. I undid. I'm an idiot. Sorry, I'm stupid. I asked the question and then I undid. And yeah, I never made that exchange. Yup. Yup, it was up here. Yeah, there we go. My bad. Sorry, let's do this again real quick. Right, then we saved these stones, and we went into here. Then we went here. No, we didn't. Stupid. We went here, here, and then here. And then, what was next? The Atari? Yeah. Then we're caught up? Yeah. No, then we take, right. And then there was that. And then we connected up here. And then I think the next move is here, right? Yeah, alright. So question. Since we ignored this, remember back here? Since we ignored this, how is white alive? Remember that question? How is white alive? Because if we take here, we're not alive locally, right? So here's the question. How are we alive? I'll give you a hint. Black resigns right now. Why? Doesn't the throw-in work? Because there's nothing here, right? 06. Here? Does this really make an eye? Is there really an eye here? Second die at P8? Where's P8? P8. You mean P9? The Miai here? Isn't that just Ko? Isn't that variation just Ko? Is that what you're referring to? It's Ko, right? Looks like Ko. Anything else here? Any other possibilities here? It's Ko. It's Ko. Is it though? Is it really? Is it? Is it really a Ko? Is it really, really, really a Ko? See a problem here? Seeing a problem here? Seeing a teeny weeny little problem here? That's not a fun corner. That is not a fun corner. So we need to be alive, right? And then the middle all dies? That ain't fun either. So maybe we don't, maybe we do this instead, right? And then we die horribly. Okay, that's not going to work out either, I think. Yeah, that seems pretty bad. In fact, we could probably just do it straight up from here. We go here, right? And then what? White backs off? And backs off, and then just lets himself turn into that and get rid of this? I don't think Scoresmanner likes that idea. No, not really. That's too large. Ke Jie is a monster. The invasion. Not only can you not kill it, but if you threaten to kill it, he kills you. For having the audacity to try to kill this invasion, you'll die. We'll of course be back Sunday for a real board game. I kind of want to go over the other game though on Sunday. I might do it. It's this really great game where attacks just go nowhere.